If I told you that one tiny company could be about to change the energy industry forever and that it's trading for just $1, would you be intrigued? This little-known Aussie company says it's found a way to transform fossil fuels into clean energy. Think about that for a second. That's huge. Currently, this company is so small that hardly anyone knows about it, which is why its stock is still so cheap. And that means there's the potential for incredible returns if and when this company's tech goes mainstream. This clean energy breakthrough stock is just one of 7 promising Aussie companies on our radar at the moment. To get the full details on all of them, click the link below now.
G'day there, welcome to the closing bell on the 27th of November. I'm shooting this one from the beautiful north coast of New South Wales in Hawk's Nest. And I've been trading and jumping in the ocean as often as I can, so it's been great fun. But the markets have been pretty busy this week. There's been a lot going on. I think the reason why the ASX got smashed yesterday, it's midday at the moment and the market's down 110 points, so I'm imagining it's going to finish the day pretty badly, is because there's a lot of talk about taper actually being accelerated. Goldman Sachs coming out and saying they reckon the Fed's going to announce in December that they're going to increase the pace of taper so that they finish that in 3 months rather than 6 months, which then gives them the option to start raising rates earlier, because inflation is starting to get away from them. And I think if the Fed does come out and say we are accelerating the pace of taper, that will be the first time in a very long time that the Fed has blinked, accepting that they're getting behind the curve, that inflation is not transitory and is getting away from them, and that they need to take away the punch bowl and they need to do it rapidly so that they've got the option of raising rates. And after we've had so many years of falling rates, this is one of the first times for a long time where we've seen the Fed starting to get behind the curve. And you've seen the yield curve really moving. Those short bonds are selling off quite rapidly as people adjust their expectations on the amount of rate rises that could come next year, moving up towards possibly 2 to 3 rate rises next year. And I think in December, if we see that announcement from the Fed that they will increase the pace of their taper, that really is the point when they're saying to the market, yes, we accept inflation is not transitory and we'd better start moving now to pull away some of the stimulus that we've got out there and give us the option to start raising rates to head off inflation. So that could be behind the weakness we're seeing in stocks. And I just wanted to show you how our market was looking, the ASX 200 on the charts. So let's have a look at this ASX 200. What I have here for you is the monthly chart. And I think I have shown you this before. And the key things I want to point out from this is that old high from 2007, 2008. And notice before we had the COVID crash, notice the market taking out that high, trying to break out, failing to do so, and then we had the COVID crash. So those false breaks are the things you have to keep your eye on in the markets. They happen so often. Everyone gets bullish on a breakout. Everyone thinks the market will do nothing but go up. And when the music stops, all of a sudden things can turn down very rapidly. So just looking at where the markets are right now, if we look at that old high from last year, what I want you to notice is the fact that last month we had confirmed a monthly sell pivot. That little black diamond I've got on there, that is my first sign that momentum is shifting back to the downside. That's when I start to tread a little bit more carefully in the market and just to be wary, maybe take a few profits. It's early days. It's not saying things are turning down, but it is saying that's when you just have to be a bit wary that momentum could be shifting. I want you to notice back in 2007, you can see there the monthly sell pivot came in, and that was right before markets really turned down. And that was really the start of the crash back then. So that was a really early warning signal. So that's why I keep an eye on these monthly sell pivots. You can see over this period, over the last 10 or so years, even though they don't work every time, they are often a precursor to a big sell-off. You have a year of the market selling off there. You have 3 months sell-off there. You have the COVID crash, and you have there nearly a year of selling off back in 2011, 2012. So it's not some foolproof thing saying the market will sell off, but it is a condition that needs to happen before the markets will sell off. And often what you get once we have that monthly sell pivot in place, you often get a rally up into selling pressure. And if the selling pressure is there and the market can't carry on to the upside and turns down, that's when you can see quite a sharp move. And the reason I'm concerned is because if we're looking at that old high from 2020, you can see there's a domino effect there, that if prices do turn down here and break below that high from last year, that will be a confirmation of the false break of that high. It will also be selling off below that 10-month exponential moving average. So it's under there, under that sort of 7,000 to 7,100 region. That's where you start to get pretty concerned. So, it's not there yet, but I just want to point out that the conditions in the market from a technical standpoint are saying be a little bit wary. And the fact that today or yesterday for you, we had quite a sharp sell-off in our market, which if I go into the weekly chart for you, you will see that it's the first weekly sell pivot for quite a while. The market has been treading water, really not going anywhere. And I just want you to notice that even though, prices have been slowly grinding higher, we'll see here, we've got the first weekly sell pivot with that weekly close below the low of that highest price candle there. And the other thing I want you to notice is we've got this sell-off, which has happened a few months ago, and that rally has gone back up into the sell zone of that wave. So that's pretty much what you expect to see if the market is turning down. So all of those conditions have sort of been met, and we're seeing the first weekly sell pivot in quite a while. So that's just saying that the immediate future is possibly bearish. And with the US markets in the overnight market down around 35 points, perhaps they're setting up for a bit of a weeknight. You will know more than me, being Saturday. But I'm just getting a little wary as we head into the end of the year. Most Aussie stocks, I'm not seeing a lot of momentum. I'm seeing stocks drift. I'm seeing stocks selling off on profit taking. There's really not a lot of momentum out there at the moment. So really my view would be, as we go into this Christmas period, it's probably a better idea to be worrying about your Christmas party and looking at the markets every now and again rather than being too focused on them. Because I think as this risk increases that the Fed's going to rapidly lower their stimulus in the market, that yield curve could move quite rapidly. I think the US 10-year bonds are very expensive at the moment at 1.6% yield. So they could also sell off. So there's just a few little risky things out there at the moment. We're heading to that Christmas trading period when the volume can really dry up, and that can often see quite a sharp move if we do see a reversal during a low volume period. So it's just a time, I reckon, to ease up and not take too many risks and see what the Fed comes up with in December, whether they're going to change the pace of their taper, and then we can deal with things for next year. So really, it's a time to chill out for a bit and not take too many risks in this market. So that's it for this week. I definitely check out what I get up to by clicking those links below the video to check out Australian Small-Cap Investigator and Pivot Trader. Find out what I'm up to. Come and join me to trade. And other than that, I will come back with more next week. Cheers.